I think we can start our meetup. I'm Jens Sune Petersen, and I will be your host this evening. And we'll have a very fun evening with the weekly review. And some of you have already written where you're zooming in from and in the chat box. But let's start with some news from GTD Nordic. Morten.
Yes, thank you, Jens. And the news is that there is not much news, except of that it seems to be a plan for that summer camp I just mentioned. Maybe Jens, you are involved in this, are you not? Can you just tell us the dates?
We haven't settled on the date yet, but as soon as we have a final date and a place, we'll spread the word.
Oh, okay, but it is in September something.
We're looking for someone sometimes in September.
Okay, so and this is about the details we have, but I understand that it's going to be in a weekend, so as soon as that is published, put it in your calendars and hang out with us. Come and see us all, and I'm sure there will be a lot of trainers and coaches there who will give you, help you for free, of course. So. Okay, and that's about it. I don't have anything else that I can, have written down as news. So back to you, Jens.
Thank you. And let's say hi to all the trainers and coaches present. Let's go back to you, Morten, and say hi to you. What's your biggest or the most interesting GTD topic you're looking into right now?
And that must be the horizons of focus. I'm doing what I call a horizons of focus analysis with a very interesting coachee who is the CEO of a big media company in the US, of all places. And we are really diving into those to help him make decisions in his everyday life. And he's in getting close to a watershed moment in his career and life, and we will use that to help him make the big decisions he needs to make in the future to come, or the near future. So horizons of focus, my favorite topic at the moment.
Yeah, and let's go to Finland and Jukka.
That would have to be the adaptability of the system in whole. 2 weeks ago, I made a shift of doing GTD part-time to doing GTD full-time as an means of employment. And what was actually really interesting was that prior to those 2 weeks, my system looked very different, but it actually took only one good weekly review and going through my horizons of focus to adjust the reality to the new job, in a sense. So adaptability, how it actually very dynamically changes to what your needs are.
Okay, thank you. And Kariva, what about you?
Yes, I think that would be this dance between getting things done, like completing next actions and like getting things into motion and making things happen. And at the other side, working on clarifying and organizing, doing weekly review, and like get the overview, get back the balance. When you get things moving, at least for me, I kind of get more and more out of balance, and then I have to find this good dance between moving ahead and clarifying, organizing, doing reviews, and like getting back to the relaxed focus that's so nice about GTD. So yeah, for at least for myself as a GTD practitioner, that's where I'm working right now, and I'm discovering a lot of cool new stuff, and that's one of the things I love so much about GTD, that I mean it never ends. We are always students. I've been doing this for 14 years, and I'm sure in 14 years from now, I would say he thought he knew, but he should have known. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's the balance between. Yeah.
Thank you. And working from both Norway and Germany. Let's go to Iceland then, Peter.
Hi everyone, nice to see you. Yeah, GTD is pretty new in Iceland, so I'm still in the phase of really explaining what GTD is and how it can help people. Of course, now coming out of COVID and a lot of working from home, people are going back to their offices, which is usually co-working spaces. And so it's also just about how do we focus? How do we focus? It's easy to focus when you're on your own at home, but then all of a sudden you're with 20 people around you and they all want to chat all the time. So it's also about setting boundaries, setting rules, talking about focus. How do we work? And then we can maybe chat. And then we can talk about how we work together. So it's basic stuff, really also just talking about what's current now, what's happening in our environment and how GTD fits into that. And I think that's really interesting, and people like that sort of dialogue. So that's what I've been doing. And I'm just starting as a coach now. And so I'm very excited about coaching. But then one of the corporates I was talking about, they said, yeah, coaching is good, but we also want to be together in a room with other people. And so maybe you should start with seminars. So that was a bit surprising, but of course it's also because of all this isolation. So it's interesting times, and yeah, very exciting times. Come and visit Iceland. It's beautiful weather and we have no COVID.
It's a really nice place. Thank you, Peter. And then let's go to Sweden and Martin.
Yes, I really could relate to what Carl Ivar said. I am at the moment right now where I really find the big value from the next actions list. It's so powerful to be able to work from them and get so much stuff done. And what I kind of realized the last few weeks here is that I've been needing to do like a midweek weekly review, because I'm moving so fast. My system gets totally broken. So, and that's of course a good thing because a lot of things gets done. So I just need to sit down. It's not a long process. I don't go through the whole process, but I sit down and do a quick thing, go through my projects and make sure I have related next action and get up to speed again. And then I can just continue to crush things. And that is so amazing to see the power of that. And it's always when you get this feeling in the belly, you know that now it's really time to do it. It's not so much the calendar or that weekly rhythm. You feel it. It's very, very obvious when you've been doing it for a while that now I need to sit down and actually complete my weekly review, or at least do a quick review so I can manage until I get to the real weekly review. So that is, I think, the learnings and what I've seen the last week or so that has been like an aha moment for me. And now I'm also in the process of becoming a workflow coach, a GTD workflow coach, and hopefully I will be able to pull that off early fall. And that is also interesting. And it's so amazing how much you learn yourself when you're trying to teach others. So that's fantastic.
That's great. Thank you, Martin. And let's go to Norway again, and Anna-Stina.
Hello, nice to see you all. Yes, I am actually letting in on you on a little secret. I haven't done my weekly review for 2 weeks. So, but what I recognize, what I recognize is that I still have a sense of calm because the GTD system that I have is giving me that sense of calm. But I've set aside time for a weekly review tomorrow. So be assured, Morten, that I'm back on tomorrow. And I did a reflection on that yesterday, actually, way before GTD and after, because I wouldn't have had that sense of calm, even though I hadn't, you know, because I didn't have the weekly review, I didn't have the GTD system, I would have had a sense of inner stress. But it's giving me, because I have the overview easily if I need it. So, yeah. I think it's a game changer for me to have that in the in my system. So that has given me a sense of relief anyway.
Jo bevega det. Hadde du ikke fått gjort det?
Yes, that's me.
So thank you, Anna-Stina, and testing the boundaries of GTD brave. I think we are through the list of all the trainers and coaches, as I could see it on the participant list. But if I missed anyone, they just shout up and say what their
I think you covered them all.
Yeah,
just
great.
Yep.
Excellent. Then let's dive into the weekly review. The plan was to have a few questions to the coaches and trainers to set us up for this talk, and then have some Zoom breakout rooms where it's a little easier to discuss your own practice, and hopefully we have trainers and coaches in every room, so we have some good feedback and some good talks about this topic. We tested the breakout rooms in the latest Danish meetup, and it was quite a good experience. Have a smaller group of people to discuss stuff instead of just sitting and listening. So let's try it and see what it's about. But let's start with the weekly review, where it's set in our model. It's any one of the coaches or trainers want to help us with that? That's a trick question. Let's start with
Come on,
Morten.
guys. No, okay. If nobody else is going here, I can. It's in the 5 steps we have: capture, clarify, organize, review, and engage. So it's the 4th of the 5 stages. And just to give you a short recap, everybody, what's happening on the 5 steps so that you can get the overview is that you capture everything that has your attention, get it out of your head. And then before too late, you need to clarify it and organize it into your system. And if you wait too long, it will move back into your brain again. So do it 24 to 48 hours and organize it into your trusted system, your system your brain trusts. It will not go back into your brain. It will stay outside. And to maintain it staying outside, you have to do a review minimum every week, but as often as you need to keep your brain uncluttered. You will look at everything that has your attention, anything that's on your radar, on your calendar, and on your lists, and make sure that you are catching up so that nothing can jump in a dark alley, as David would say. And then you have a well-functioning systems that you can engage with, and then you look at your calendar. What am I doing next? If you don't have anything, you go to your lists, and then you look at what can I do to fill this time with some productive work. So that's the 5 steps with the emphasis on the weekly review. Is that okay, Jens?
Yeah, that's great. Just to anyone new to GTD to make sure we knew where in the model we were. And you also covered my next question, the purpose of the weekly review, to keep us clear. So I'll go to the next one. Am I allowed to customize the weekly review? What about that, Kaliber? Is that one for you? Or?
Yes, I can take that.
And everybody can add to this after Kaliber. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody listening in now, please feel free to disrupt and if that's okay, Jens.
Yeah,
You have
definitely.
other questions based on what we tell, and just feel free to grab the mic. And but the question is, are we allowed to create our own weekly review? And our answer to that is we strongly suggest, we strongly encourage you to make your own version. You can say in GTD there's nothing right or wrong. We just have warm recommendations, so-called best practices, and in terms of the weekly review, I mean, there are as long as you fulfill the purpose on the weekly review to get clear and get current and get creative, you can like create your own within that. We have 11 steps that we suggest that you follow that work very well. But you all work differently because you have slightly different brains, you know. So learn to just read about the weekly review and try out these 11 steps and get accustomed to them, and then ask yourselves which need do you have based upon how your life and how your work is. Are there some for instance, at step number 9 in that suggested checklist we give you, where we suggest you review relevant checklists. So which checklists are relevant for you? Maybe do you maybe have a checklist on weekly things you want to check in on? On the first part, which we suggest can be get clear, where you like gather all your stuff that's lying around that doesn't belong where it is, put it in your inbox, clarify and organize your inbox to empty, or as empty as you can, and then do a mind sweep. Maybe you want to add some other steps there to fit your needs in order to get clear. Feel free to play along with it. GTD works best when you make it your own, and that also is for the weekly review, definitely. Anyone else have something to add to that?
Is any one of the coaches or trainers have seen some customization that you could share with us?
Okay, since nobody else is opening their mouth, I will. No, I've customized my weekly review a lot. I've changed around. I've not deleted something, but I added a few points that make sense to me. Some checklist I would like to see, and I moved the clarify and organize my inboxes to the end of the review. and because that makes sense to me, and you have to play with it, as Kalibar says. You have to play around with it, and this is not rocket science or running with scissors, as David would say. It's not dangerous. Just play around, see what works for you.
Well, Morten, if I may ask, could you go a little bit more into detail why you moved that to the back? That's very interesting. That's actually the first time I hear someone moving that to the back.
Well, the reason I'm moving it is not at the not at the far end, but close to the far end, is because when I do my weekly review, it's in the morning on Fridays from 8 to 10. You can't get me then. I'm totally under the radar. But and since I'm a high associative, I tend to get dragged into emails. I tend to spend too much time with emails. So I'm removing that temptation to get dragged into email ping pong with some person or persons. I decided to move it further at the end, so it's around 2/3 of all the things I would like to do. If anyone wants, I could share my screen and show you my weekly review checklist if that has any interest. But
Of
anyone
course
who
it
then
does.
Yes, it has, and
it-
it's a
it
very
has.
good explanation why you do that. I think that's I'm going to try this out soon. That makes a lot of sense. I never thought about it.
No. Okay, so I will go mute for 2 seconds. I will open my weekly review checklist and I will show it on screen. But if somebody else can share how they are doing it, Martin, you have unmuted yourself.
Yeah. While you're fixing your stuff, I just saw that Simon was sharing his weekly review checklist in the chat. It's as an image. That's a really nice example. You can definitely take a look at that. And I also modified my own weekly review heavily. I also moved my clarifying step later on because I have a tendency to, while going through my system, I find a lot of things that ends up inside my inbox. So I want to clarify that later in the process. So similar modification as as Morten had.
Yeah, we can see your thing, Morten. Can you explain it a little bit?
Sorry, if I can
explain it a little bit. So
what I can say is that well, this is not mine. This is Simon's.
Okay.
So he shared it in the chat. So I just put it on screen for people.
Great.
And I will show mine in a second, but he has changed around stuff here, and he had on Reflect, he puts things I'm proud of from this week. This is also customization. You can do actually whatever you want with this. So let me try and share my checklist, and somehow give me a second. I have not. This is
the review template. It will only go away once you complete the review.
I know, and I did my review, but it didn't go away. So I have to, maybe I just forgot to check it off as finished. Okay, I will stop sharing and I will fix that and show it to you. Just give me a second, okay? Somebody else take the helm for a second.
I think it's important. What we strongly suggest also is that you look for different strategies to do the weekly review. So you, for instance, I don't know, maybe anyone want to write in the chat how often you manage to do the weekly review now? I mean, the first step is just to do a review, to create the habit to do it every week, or as often as you need to, like have been said here. So for me, at least, one of the big, I've done tons of mistakes in implementing GTD. And one of the mistakes I did was to look upon the weekly review as some kind of luxury I would do for myself every now and then. And it was a huge game changer when after several years started allowing myself to do a review every week. But then again, you know, it's like you can do it in one chunk, but there's nothing wrong about like splitting it up. Do the get current phase and one day, and then the first do the get clear phase maybe on Thursday, then the get current phase on Friday, and maybe do the get creative on Saturday. Whatever works for you. There are weeks, you know, you have like your plan is like you don't have a 2-hour block, so take it out on different days, for instance. Find strategies that work for yourself, so you do it.
I just shared my adapted weekly review in the chat. It's quite a lot, but and it's in Norwegian, unfortunately. But you could Google Translate if you like. So this is my adapted, and if I don't have the time, my minimum is the calendar, getting to 0 in the inbox, and look at my project list. That's my minimum, that I have an overview of my active projects, and then I have one next action on that. That's my minimum. Forward and back. Forward in the calendar, I skip the backward. I just do the forward, and I empty my head. And yeah, I think I mentioned those things now. Yeah.
And I think that you have to continue a little more, because it seems that for the first time, this is the demo ghost haunting me. The first time in my life, as long as I've been doing Omnifocus since version 0.7 or something, or 9, I was on the beta program for this at some point, the sync has failed. I have a lot of not finished weekly reviews, and I'm cleaning it up. So please, somebody help me.
I could go through and translate it into English, what I've written down, if that's something that Jens, is that okay?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, adapted weekly review for me. I turn off my notifications on the phone. I put on some quiet music. I put up the weekly review note on the door, and then I close the door. I'm very specific so that I get into the mood. Then I find something to a pen and paper, because I'm very tactile. I need to use pen and paper. Empty my head. Then I empty my bags, which are already around me, around my legs, because as I've shared before, I used to fill up one bag a day, and then I had lots of bags around my feet. But now I've actually gotten into the habit of emptying one bag that I'm using as work, and then I empty my wallet and pockets and my physical inbox, which is just over my arm here. And then I check my texts, WhatsApp, Messenger, a little bit backwards as well, so I haven't missed any messages. Those social media places that I can actually get messages that are relatable, that I need to answer. So that's one of the things. Then I empty my email. I look at the calendar backwards and forward, and the projects list, if they're all active, or if I should move some around on that, and if I have a next action on anyone. And I also have a sub-project list, because sometimes I have a project, and for that to happen, a lot of sub-projects needs to finish underneath, and then check that I have next action on all the active ones there. And then I clean up my next action list. And actually a few weeks back, I had a proper cleanup on the next action list, and that was such a thrill. So I think that's why I have this ease now, that I haven't really done my weekly review, because I know I have a good overview. I knew that I did a good cleanup on that. And then I look over the relevant checklist, but that's not really something I only do if I see in the calendar I'm going for a trip or something that is relevant. I have a seminar, I will look over the checklists, but I don't have that many active checklists. One thing that I actually have skipped, I know that's probably a no-go, but I'm such a creative person that I don't allow myself more time after the weekly review because I have too much creativity in my bones. So it's just, because it pops up anyway. So I skip that part in the weekly review completely because I don't need more things going on in my life that I already have. So that's one of the things. Yeah, I have too much creativity in my backbone. So I've just skipped that part completely. So that's me. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Anna-Stina. And I just see, I will share my screen in just 1 minute, but Michael Dreves has an interesting question in the chat. So we can do what and how we want. Yes, you're correct. What is, in your experience, is a bad idea to do besides not doing? Well, to do an unstructured one, I guess, is one of the things I would point to. If you don't do a structured one, and with structured, I mean that you need to have a checklist so that you can tick it off as you go along. That has been one of the whole, that made it a huge difference for me, because you will go down your list and then you get interrupted by something, someone comes in your door or you receive a message, and then to make sure that you are not lost in where was I, and then kind of drift off doing something completely different. It's good to have a kind of like bookmarked for where you left off. So yeah, getting into doing and not staying in the review mode, Kaliva says. So.
And since you said that, Morten, I just realized that I hadn't scrolled down to my checklist on my weekly review. So the 2 points that I missed out on, and that was my areas of responsibility. But I go over, have I caught everything in life that's important? Kids, house, cars, finances. And final question, am I on the right track in life, or according to where I want to be? So that's it. Yeah.
Okay. I will open my Omnifocus weekly review checklist now. And it looks like this. And the first thing I would like to point out to you, because I am a high associative, high observer, high listener, and very easily distracted because of this. So I am putting my weekly review checklist. It's personal for me. It's health and fun, because I know that after, when I finish this, it's both good for my health and it's fun after. So, and I have to, because I am a high associative and high observer, I have to have something that kind of like will pull me into. So of course I have a smiley. I know I'm not saying of course, but it helps me. And one of the things I would like to point out there is, those of you who understand my Nordic language, or for those of you who don't, I will make a few pointers outers here, is that I want to give myself an easy, quick win to get me started. So turn on Do Not Disturb on mobile and Mac are 2 things I can do very easily. It will take, less than maybe 10 seconds to do. And it gives me, okay, now I'm going. Now I've started. And then I have a main goal for 2021 once a month, and then I will look at my, what week are we? So this is first week of the month. I will do that. When I finish with that, I will go and clarify and organize my Omnifocus inbox. I will empty my red in if I have something in that. It's a physical in folder. I will also empty my wallet, and then I will look through my Remarkable for updated notebooks that I need to do something about. Anything that I have not catched yet, that I need to, like actions I need to do something about. And then copy whatever I need to from the Remarkable into Evernote. If something is finished, it ends up there. And then I do a mental sweep and I clarify and organize that, and I check my calendar back and forth in time. Then I do a weekly review in Omnifocus, and every 4 weeks I do a full review of whatever is in Omnifocus, because I use on hold, I pause projects and I don't see them in my weekly review lists. When I do do the review part here, you can click and you can say, I don't want to see them. Because I don't need to see them more than every 4th week, because if it's parked on hold, it's enough to see them every 4th week for me. And then I clarify and organize my private email, and then my job related email, and my physical inbox. And then I go to our CRM system, update activities there, renegotiate today's next actions. If I put something on my, I use flagged. If I flagged something and I see I cannot come through delivering on my own promises to myself, I will renegotiate them. Then I will turn off Do Not Disturb on my mobile and Mac. And last but not least, I will update my calendar, this calendar. Some of you have seen this calendar before. Some people get depressed when I talk about this, but for me, this is a joy. This calendar is a week calendar of my life. All the dark here, gray matter here is squares where I have actually finished that week. And I expect maybe I will live to be 80. And these are the white areas here are what I have left in life. And I don't do this to remind myself about death, but about life. That life is not, we are not around for forever. So it's to be reminded to actually live and to be in the moment and love and laugh and have fun. I need that little reminder. So that works for me. So that's my weekly review checklist. And when I can mark a new week over, it's a happy little dance on the floor as well when I finished. So that's my weekly checklist for weekly review. Any questions for this? Just unmute yourself if you have a question or a comment.
Martin,
Yeah.
why don't you do that check in the very first thing you do at the weekly review to remind you about life, so you have the right focus during the weekly review?
Well, I don't need that. That's for me. That is when I finish my weekly review, I do that to remind me for the rest of the day and the weekend. I should, okay, focus cool. On what's important for me.
Great.
So that makes sense to me, and could make sense for you if you want to put it in the beginning. That's the beauty of getting things done. It's highly customizable.
Thanks.
And we have some chats. Great, with so much interactive. Skipping clarifying. Yeah, Jukka Bachman has a very good point about weekly reviews. Skipping, clarifying, organizing during the week, and overloading the weekly review with this. I just had a client who said, I will not clarify my inbox until my weekly review. And I said, why on earth would you not? Of course you would. You should. Every day. 24 to 48 hours, clarify and organize everything so that when you do your weekly review, it's not so daunting. So get you. So Guy writes, got yearly, quarterly goals, add them to your review lists. Think about whether or not the projects you're ongoing have nudged you towards the goals. Yes, that's why I'm having my main goals for 2021. I will look to see them every 1 month for not lost track of them.
Maybe a technical question, Morten, if I may. Yeah. Is this a project in Omnifocus that you
exactly
that you reactivate, or do you do it with task paper to just reload it for every week, or how do you do this?
On a technical basis, it's a recurring project.
Recurring project. Okay.
Every week.
Okay.
And it's due before 12, so it's kind of like it's, I told you I need every kind of help I need to remember this. And if I don't do this before 12, it's every item on the list becomes red and screams at me, do me.
Yeah. And do you make use of the review functionality of Omnifocus itself, meaning that it circles through every project, and you then and I know that in Omnifocus you can set different time intervals to review it for every specific project. And this is more a general question, not only geared toward Omnifocus. Would you recommend that, or do you really review every project or touch upon every project every week? So I'm leaning towards the latter, but interested to hear your thought on that.
What I mentioned here is a do review in Omnifocus, include on hold every 4th week. So I put projects on hold. You can do that on any project. You just go and go pause it here, put it on hold. And then I have a tailored view of my, I don't want to open my review because you might see something you're not supposed to. I'm very protective of my clients. So maybe you will see a client project here, but if I click review, you can also use the customizable, called evil eye if you want, and then say, I will not, don't include the on hold. And I just turn that off. Turn it on every 4th week. Does that make sense, Sebastian?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, I'll stop my share and we can continue. There's some new questions in the chat. Would you like to take them, Jens, and we can have
the questions in the chats?
Yes,
we have one from Søren Peter about making a habit to clear and organize every 1-2 days.
Yeah, well, I never done that every 20, 40, 48 hours. I personally, I put it on my to get started. I decided I will do it 3 times a day. So by morning from 9 to 9:30, after lunch 12 to 12:30, I would clarify and organize, and then before I left the office, the last half hour, I would clarify and organize email, and that was in my calendar to build the habit. And every time I did that, I kind of did a little celebration to remember this and feel good about it. So that's how I did it. How did you guys do it? Anyone else? Maybe a non trainer can answer a little. Just unmute yourself and talk if you have an idea what you want to say about this. How did you build clarify and organize as a habit? Yes, Feder?
Yeah, so I'm still trying to embrace the practices. So I try to follow it rather slavishly from the design. And I'm keeping this as basically the only paper that I stick around, and try not to be too creative before I have actually started getting into the rhythm of doing weekly reviews. And then I'll obviously start looking at customizations, but I actually want to join or get the feeling of the rhythm before I start being too fancy. I also try to be fairly low tech in the way I'm doing it. Somebody is joking. Yeah, okay. But anyways, so that's it. And at least I can feel that even though I'm still embracing the practices, I actually still get the reward of ticking off, realizing what I actually accomplished during the week, and that's really giving me quite a lot of satisfaction.
Exactly.
We have one question from Magnus. It's a longer one about emails. I think we can take that and then try to go into the breakout rooms to have.
I also have a question that I think you missed, Jens. Got yearly, quarterly goals? Question mark.
Yeah, well, it's more like a statement. then a question. He asked, do you have yearly, quarterly goals? If you add them to the weekly review list, think about whether you or not your projects, etc. So that's, I think that is more not a question. So, but maybe I will read that question from Magnus. Do you go email inbox series every week? Every day, my friend, every day. Move all emails into GTD system before replying and deciding next action. Yes, I as long as they're more than 2 minutes, yes. I do that, and that's the best practices. I would like to not use the inbox as a to-do list. Well, yes, you're absolutely correct. If it is less than 2 minutes, then it will be your to-do list. But he says it seems to be just easier to let the email stay there. You know that I felt that too. Sometimes I'm also pulled into that trap, but I understand that it is not. You ask it, what is the best way to handle emails? Is to clarify and organize everything to 0, and then just shut off email. And then if you feel that you need something is urgent and important, then let that start when you've finished your clarify and organize. And I've been doing this since in 2006. I trained 20 people in as trainers for the getting things done methodology, and I've coached hundreds of people in this and trained 4,000 something. And I feel sometimes the luring need of I don't know exactly what I need to do with this, so I'll just leave it in my inbox. And that is not a good place. Don't go there. That is my high recommendation. But any other people? Sorry, somebody wants to reply to this.
There was.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jens, go ahead.
No, just continue, Martin.
Yeah. No, I do inbox 0 every day as well on almost all my accounts. I have, just to put it into context, I have 9 Gmail accounts. I have 4 Office 360 accounts, and then I have a few other accounts. And all of these accounts are not important. That means that I do not empty them every day. But all the important, life critical inboxes, I am definitely clearing every day. So I think that is also a parameter that you need to take into consideration, because it can be a problem if you see the inbox 0 as something that is forcing you as well, that can push you off the whole thing. So if you have inboxes that are not important, I mean, you don't break your back to become into an inbox 0 state on all of them. Of course, you need to review them, you need to clear them at some point. But if it's inboxes that that is not critical, that can be laying around without impacting you for a few days, why stress about it? At least that is how I see on this.
We have just one question before we go to our breakout rooms. It's a question from TK about missing the review because of the reference material cluttering in Omnifocus. So clutter in your task manager.
I can chime in very roughly on that. So if I understand the question right, TK, it's like you miss out on the review because there's a lot of reference material cluttering your Omnifocus. Like there's a lot of information that kind of gets in the way of your next action list or your projects lists. Is that correct?
Yeah, if you like, I can elaborate on that quickly, because I was hesitating to answer the question in the beginning, how long I was doing GTD, because I thought I was doing GTD for years, but with the weekly review, well, so right now I'm at the point where my Omnifocus is populated with maybe 5,000 items, and there are pretty good next actions on that, but there's also a lot of reference material, ideas that are connected, and that I simply have no point on that. And recently I came to the conclusion I have to separate reference material from next action in order to be able to actually do the review in 1 hour or 2 hours a week. Yeah, but I'm struggling to do the separation. So my question to you trainers would be if you have some good practices how to do like the first review with a very corrupted system, or how to do this fresh start and have be able to enjoy it again.
I think you gave the answer very roughly yourself, to try to take out some of that reference system and park it somewhere else. You know, in the beginning of this meetup, Morten talked about those 5 steps: capture, clarify, organize, review, and engage. And on the organize step, we warmly recommend you guys to create clear boundaries between next actions, projects, and reference material. So it's very clearly divided for you what you have where. And TK, I'm also a candidate for creating a lot of stuff into my Omnifocus, so I really feel you. A few weeks ago I had a meeting with Martin. He like snapped me because it's too much in there. He told me and I have a lot of help on having another application taking care of my reference material, and then I have, yeah, I just make a short note in the notes field in my Omnifocus. For instance, in the project list, in the notes field of the project, I see reference material you can find there and there and there. And then I can have the reference all over the place, but not in Omnifocus. Like Omnifocus is very, yes, Morten, I simplified it after our call, and now it's a lot better. And please listen, people. Try to customize your system so it's as easy as possible for you to do the weekly review. This is one thing Anna Maria, our master trainer for the coaches, told me during the coaching training, and I think it's so important. Like, look for ways to customize your system so it's so easy as possible for you to do the weekly review. Is what I just said an answer to your question, or are you still?
Yes, thanks so much, Carl. I definitely take that as a beginning. And by the way, my name is Tillman and I'm from Berlin, so really enjoying the webcast so far. Thank you very much, guys.
Cool. We should have a coffee, Tillman. We're in the same city.
Okay. I contact you via chat now.
Great, cool.
I had a reflection as well. If you're in a situation where you have a really broken system, this could be a one approach, and that is to just declare bankruptcy. I have done that more than one time with Evernote in particular. Just declared Evernote bankruptcy and ripped everything out and started over. And usually when you change your list manager, there's people doing this over and over and over again. And the good thing with changing list manager is because that's a natural cleanup process. Now you are probably already in one of the best, according to me, list managers out there. But maybe you should just start over with a new database and move over to that. And that would be a cleaning process or a way to help you get clean.
Jens, I have created breakout rooms and assigned one of the trainers to each of the rooms. We have Björn Clemensson. Björn, you relate to the game, so I didn't make a room for you. So, but you will be in my room. I can. And are we ready to open the rooms?
Yeah. Let's try it, and okay. Let's have a good discussion in the groups, and come back 5 minutes or 25 minutes past
the hour. Yes, 5 minutes left. Yes, just to do a wrap up. Okay, I will close the rooms after 25 minutes, and some person asked if we will be recording this. No, in the breakout rooms there is no recording, so I will pause the recording now.
To say everything at once at the end because we
Yeah.
had 20 seconds.
I had to talk fast in the end.
Yeah.
The speedy ending.
Yeah.
And there was one person was making a sentence like, and the goal thing you need to know to solve all your GTD problems is, and then we were going back.
Yeah. Well, we had a lot of fun in our, or at least I had fun in our breakout rooms. I hope that you had as well. And I will hand us back to Jens. He is the moderator of today.
Yeah, thank you, Morten. I hope you all had so much fun that we had in our breakout room. And what I heard from with a few people now is that it's not the last time we will have a breakout room to have some more, not one-on-one discussions, but have a chance to discuss our own practice. So I hope it's been very successful, and it's now time to say goodbye, and hope you all have a very nice review next time you do it, hopefully very soon. And Morten, will now we don't have Lars today. Will you take us out?
Yeah, well, I'm going to do a very short take us out. This has been a blast. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy for if you learn something, we've given you some value. We, the trainers here, raise your hand, all trainers who love to teach GTD, and we're doing it at the love of GTD, and we love giving it to you. So if we can be of service to you, we will continue doing this. And if you want to find out more about, the more commercial part of the getting things done, you can go to GTDnordic.com and find your country websites and information there. And listen to our podcast if you want to do it. I don't know if everybody does that, but that's Getting Things Done by GTD Nordic, where Lars Rotzkill Henriksen and I do our best to, convey our knowledge about the best practices of getting things done. So, and I'm sure some person say, could you share your white paper in the Meetup group? Yes, I just did, I think. Is it not there? I will share something if you hang on just 1 minute, just one second. I will get another. I have a white paper I shared in the, just give me a second. White paper.
And while you do that, I will
put it in the chats for those of you want to see this. You can download the white paper, and it is like this is about reflection vs doing, and when are you the smartest person you are in the 24 hours of a day, or at least your wake hours. How can you do the best work you can do? Now it's it's uploaded, so you can download that. And I think we are at the hour, Jens.
Yeah.
Is it goodbye time?
It's a goodbye time, and of course you can also listen to Morten on the Coaching Cafe, and find us in all the Facebook groups and everywhere we try to post stuff.
Mm.
So thank you for today, and have a nice next weekly review. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks for organizing, Jens.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
thanks for
Bye.
taking your
Thank
time.
you. Bye.
Bye.